Hmm. Welcome back. All right. All right, guys. I'm sorry about that. Part of doing this off of a laptop. YouTube don't like you sometimes. I just sometimes you just want to kill a motherfucker. You know, sometimes you just want to kill a motherfucker. That's all right. I had 150 people here, and now I got 22. But I do appreciate you guys coming back. I do. I do. I do. We had some questions come in, and trust this computer. Trust. Cancel. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Seriously, sorry about that. All right, I got 39 back. You guys are coming back slow. All right, next question is from Stephen Rogers. Hey, Carl, tell how the warrant officer shot himself. We already did that one. All right, Joe Stubborn Nigger. Man, your mom named you weird as fuck. All right, TR, what's the distance on those targets? If you're talking about on the big facade there, the targets range from about 25 meters. The facade we shot today, it was, I think the furthest one was 135. See, that's the cool part about this place is it's not just pew pew at 3 meters or 5 meters. It's all steel reactive target. And we spent the whole morning shooting paper, doing 3-inch shots with the rifles, working through the different manipulations, check drill, transition drills, all that stuff. But you get out there and working around the vehicles, and the facade today, I think the nearest one was 20. So safe enough distance for you to shoot it because of the type of steel that it is. But and each, you got multiple shooters, and you've got just banks of targets that go out. And we got out to, I think the furthest one, target number 12, was 135 meters away. It's good because you're not just shooting small targets. They are small targets, but you have to understand, you put it on the center of the target, that's fine, but that bullet crosses line of sight around, say, 36 to 50 meters, depending on where you zeroed. For me, for example, mine crosses line of sight at 43 meters. Me shooting 65 grain ammo, it crosses at 43 meters, my zero, and that puts me dead on at 200 meters. Now, so for that 35 meter target, I'm about 1.75 inches high at that distance. I gotta hold just a little bit low. We got 70 people back already, Coach. The cadets are all out. Oh, I can smell that. Coach is cooking jambalaya. He's got red beans and rice on the stove. I'm excited for it. I really am. All right, I've had a few other questions come in. All right. Let's see. What's this one? Right, we got Frozen. What's happening? I take it that's when the live stream locked up. All right. We got this one's from Semper Paratus, TO Live. Would it be possible, or would it be foolish to trade my backup 5.56 carbine for CMMG Mark 1C to go to my EDC G20? It's up to you. If that's your caliber, you're a 10 millimeter guy. Yeah, do whatever you want. Then you're at least running the same caliber. I can see I understand that. Now, me personally, I like rifle rounds. The performance that you get with a rifle round compared to a pistol round. I don't care if you're shooting a Desert Eagle. A Desert Eagle does not tear shit up as bad as 5.56 does. It just doesn't. Here's another question from Mike. Thoughts on a single stage versus two stage trigger in a general purpose AR? Don't even waste your time with a two stage trigger. Two stage triggers were a thing back in the day, especially on combat sniper rifles, because you would take up that first, guys want a half-pound or a 1 pound trigger on a sniper rifle or precision rifle, but you don't want to trigger that light on a combat gun. So how they would get around it is that 5 pound trigger or that 7 pound trigger or that 12 pound trigger that people were running in their combat guns. They would put in a two-stage trigger. So basically, instead of running a single stage 8 pound trigger, they would put in a 8 pound trigger that was two stage. So in other words, the first stage would take up 7 pounds basically. And then once you were there, then you only had to add 1 extra pound of pressure to make that gun go off. My SR-25 Mark 11 is made by Knight Armament, and I don't remember what weight the trigger was, but it had a two-stage trigger in it. And in the shoot house, you're running it like a one-stage trigger. You're basically just beating the snot out of paper targets and steel targets as you run through the shoot house. Okay, it's just a heavier trigger. It's a combat trigger. You don't want a 1 pound trigger on a rifle like that. So maybe for a precision rifle gun, but honestly, guys, if you're running a decent trigger, whether it's a Geisley or something like that in an AR, the big thing I want in an AR is I want that trigger to break cleanly. I want it to basically have a wall, and then I want it to break cleanly. I don't want a lot of over travel. I don't want a lot of initial travel of it. Once it goes, I want the gun to go off and me to be able to immediately reset it. Most of your modern decent ARs, unless you're just putting a cheap DPMS lower parts kit in there, building your own, if you're getting a decent trigger, they're almost all awesome. They just are. So I would rather you invest money in something else besides a two-stage trigger. We already did that one. How do you get to the shooting team? All right. They had a question for Coach. Coach, you available? I'll tell you what. I'll let Coach do that one. But cool part about Texas A&M Corps Cadets Marksmanship Team. A lot of people don't know it, but Texas A&M it's a agricultural school, right? A and M, right? But it's also kind of like the Marine Corps service school ish. That's the way I look at it. It's a very, very big Marine presence there. And when they go to these shooting matches, you understand you've got West Point there, the Army Service Academy. You've got the Naval Academy. You've got VMI. You've got the Air Force Academy, stuff like that. West Point has obviously everybody there is cadets, right? Not at Texas A&M. At Texas A&M, there's a lot of military cadets there. Not all of them are on the shooting team. Same thing at West Point. Some of them are football players, some of them are this, some of them are that. But they do have an action shooting team that basically shoots 2-gun, 3-gun matches, stuff like that. That's who these guys are here. They are the Texas A&M equivalent of that shooting team. And the Corps Cadets Marksmanship Team for Texas A&M, I met Coach over a decade ago now, and he brought me in. We were just talking one night out hog hunting, and he's like, you know, what you just told this cadet about leadership, you know, they get, you know, they have all these generals and, you know, officers, admirals that come in and do classes on leadership. They never hear it from a Green Beret. So he wanted me to give that little spiel to his cadets. And then coming down to Tier 1 group in Memphis, just north of here. Again, another training facility that I used to bring my old unit to. And Coach, they had a question for you. But anyways, that's kind of how me and Coach met. And I try to do it once a year. I don't charge Coach a dime. I try to train his cadets because the way I look at it, these cadets they're the future leaders of America. And if you look at the current generation of 19, 20-year-old, 21-year-olds, this country's, we're screwed because they're, you know, you understand, I'd want to drop most of them in wood chipper. I really do. But he's got some awesome cadets. He really does. Their question was, how does somebody like going, let's say to Texas A&M, how does a normal college kid become a cadet and be on your shooting team?
Look, anybody can join the Corps. It is a student organization at Texas A&M. So, you know, there are physical fitness standards, but even if you don't meet those, they give you 2 years. You get 2 years to meet a physical fitness standard. Our PT, guys, what's a PT standards at A&M? Do we use Marine Corps standards? Kind of a mix of?
It's, of course, it's own individual, unique.
Okay. But it's similar to an Army PT standard or Marine Corps PT standard. So,
which you basically got to have a heartbeat and you can pass it. It's not that hard.
It ain't that hard. But if you're a student at Texas A&M, you can join the Corps. If you're in the Corps, you can try out for my team. So normally we send an application out to the 750, 850 freshmen in the Corps every year, and I recruit 8 to 10 individuals out of that.
How many show up though for your tryouts?
We send an application to every single one of them. Normally we get initial applications, we get 150 to 180, and then we pair those down. So
one of the things I think is cool is you understand a lot of people get recruited for like the Army marksmanship program and stuff like that. They get recruited directly out of shooting teams and the whole 3-gun world and everything. These freshmen coming in, they shoot, but coach really doesn't care and can't let the freshmen know. But coach really, I know. He really doesn't care if they're hitting. He's more interested in will they learn and are they disciplined enough, because he puts these guys through the ringer. He really does.
I don't want to say this too loud. I recruit character, drive, and motivation. So not shooting ability. Every once in a while they come with shooting ability, which is fine. The problem is that most of the time what they know, they don't really know, and what they do know is wrong. So it takes me longer to get somebody who has shot a lot back to zero before I can teach them what I want.
Yeah, they have bad habits.
A lot of bad habits. So that part's not all that fun.
Angela, the team wizard, you see his says coach. Well, Angela Gurlitt, she's the team wizard. She basically takes care of them. And team mom. Well, she departed this morning. She made breakfast for everybody, but she made us, before she left, she preloaded the coffee pots and like hung signs on them. Do not touch it, just plug it in. And so thank you, Angela, if you're watching, and I know you're not.
And those signs weren't for the adults, they were for my cadets because, they're cadets. So
tell coach I have no shooting ability, but I'm adorable, so I have potential. That's one of my nutbags. How about no?
Hey, I have I've had young ladies on the team. I have 2 on the team this year. One of them was the high female shooter at the Collegiate Steel Challenge National Championship on Sunday. So,
her?
No, not her. So Emily's a senior. Ayla is a junior cadet right now. But,
and you're doing great, doing better. You improved better today, doing dots, right? Yeah, extremely better.
My ladies are tough. Ayla, come here. I just want your hand in the picture. You saw the tape on your finger? No, you took it off. She had tape all over her fingers today. Take a shooting class here. If your hands aren't bleeding, you're not really participating. So
So you guys see the flag behind us that we're in one of the bunkhouses. It's one of the bunkhouses on the building there. And yeah, this is probably a 60-year-old building. I don't know, but it's usually filled with SEALs or Green Berets. So there's like 7 refrigerators. There's an ice machine, lots of power drinking. All the furniture is designed to be thrown at each other. I mean, if you look at this table, but the walls are covered with plaques. And one thing I thought was cool was just walking in here, the set of doors to my side over here, they have stickers that different units are put on there. And there are 3 stickers above each other that are all different generations of my old SF company. And it's kind of neat because it's kind of neat. It really is kind of neat. Which one you grabbing? That's not my group though.
No.
Yeah.
All right.
But anyways, the wall here is covered with plaques, guys. I don't know if you guys can see them all over there, but there's stickers on all the refrigerators. It's kind of neat.
There are dozens of these.
Yeah. And it's just a unit saying thank you to Mid-South for letting them come here. So one of the reasons why Coach let me come was, one, because I greatly enjoy training. You guys understand I'm big on continued education. These are some of the best instructors that I had back during the global war on terror. I always look forward to coming here, and so I wanted to come back, work with the instructors, and all of them are awesome. Which one is this?
I'll show you this. So that's SEAL Team 1. If you can see it. The date on this plaque is November of 1987.
That was a while ago, guys. They've been doing this for a long time. So been helping them out. And last night, actually, we did a TCCC class, a medical class, tactical combat casualty care. We did that for the cadets. And yeah, it was kind of cool. Coach wasn't. We had a good time with it. Mm-hmm. We had a good time. I think they got something out of it, maybe not. But you guys enjoy the medical class? You get anything out of it? They're like, fuck no.
He's got a permanent marker on it.
Oh, that was him. Oh shit, I'm sorry. So I didn't have a dry erase board, and I reached. We did, the acronym's March. I did. He got it all off. He got most of it off. March, massive bleeding. A is for airway. R is for respirations. Well, everybody just wants to put chest seals on. We're talking about it, but the reality is a lot of people don't understand how the vacuum between the actual lung and your chest cavity works, and the diaphragm lowering creates more of a vacuum, draws more air in your mouth. A lot of people don't understand it, so I needed a graphic training aid. Angela gives me this big permanent magic marker, and I had one of the cadets come up, take his shirt off, and he's got 2 pierced nipples with like freaking crazy stuff going on. I don't judge, this is today's generation. He's on contract, go Marine Corps. So, but I started drawing lungs and airways and what a collapsed lung looked like. And it just happened to look like a penis and a ball sack on his neck. But I even drew little hairs on it.
I do have pictures.
He does have pictures. But anyways, we had a good time. And then we shot again all day today. And then we did building climbing, more teamwork, right? How do you get over a 3-foot high wall? How do you get through a window? How do you scale a 8-foot tall wall, 12-foot tall wall? And then we did like how to go from like a 3rd-story window to a 4th-story window. We didn't have a 3rd-story, 4th-story window, so we just did it on the 1st floor. But the concept is sound, and the cadets did awesome. They always do awesome. And we try to do building climbing with them. We try to do medical with them once a year, every other year. Yeah, it's good. We've done survival classes with them. You remember the one year it had rained cats and dogs, everything was wet. And to light a fire, one of the monkeys, and they couldn't light anything. And I'm just walking around, just picking up stuff, and everything that I pick up just immediately bursts into flames.
They drag them through the woods in the middle of the night for probably a half a mile before.
Yeah, and they're all hypothermic because we didn't let them bring any cold weather gear. It's December. But the team that ended up winning, melting through the 550 cord 3 feet off the ground, he took my business card that I had given all of them. He lit the business card and then used one of his wool socks as dry tinder. He took it. It worked. He took his boot off. He took his dry sock, and it made enough of it was enough of an accelerant to dry out the wood enough to get it lit. Yeah, whatever you got to do. Like Randy Worth says, there's no cheating in survival. I guess But
Tyler, if you're out there, you'll live forever.
Forever. We will tell those stories forever. All right. We've had a couple more come in here.
I can see why you don't read these comments.
No, dude, because look, that one's blatantly homosexual. All right. That one, most of these, we call you guys the asylum for a reason. We have 139 people watching 2 55-year-old men in Mississippi. You realize y'all should be somewhere else having more fun, but I do appreciate y'all hanging out with me. I do.
Hey, somebody post on the chat. Did y'all hear my recommendation for a trigger? Let me know if that made it through.
Semper Paratus. We already did that one. We're gonna get you out of there. We already did that one. All right. Annalise and Kyle up in Kentucky threw down $10. Right? Were you able to talk Randy into being a jump master next week? Kyle jumped. I put him through airborne school at last October's round canopy parachute team. Mm-hmm. I leave coach tomorrow night. I go home. I pack my camper. I leave early Friday morning to go down to round canopy parachute team, Palatka, Florida. We're going to jump again. Kyle, who thank you for throwing that $10 down.
Hey JD,
I don't have Randy coming down this time.
Thanks for posting that. Make sure you let John know that we talked about him here, because he is a super dude, and I'm very grateful for his support. So he gives us a discount on his triggers. Tries not to charge me, but he's got to feed his kids. So.
What kind of trigger is that?
The McGlock trigger.
McGlocks.
Mm-hmm.
McGlocks.
Absolutely outstanding trigger, and it's used by the guys that are the best in the business, literally. So. If you want a trigger you can count on, I can recommend that.
There you go. Without further ado, man, your mom named you weird as shit, dude. Why is it called a facade? Because it's actually spelled facade, but we pronounce it different.
It looks like from the outside, it looks like a building.
It looks like a row of buildings.
So you're moving behind the facade. So it's from the outside, it looks like buildings. You're shooting through windows, doors, cracks in the walls at targets that are anywhere from 50 to 75 yards away.
It's kind of like a Hollywood old Western movie set. Mm-hmm. You've got the fronts of all the buildings, and then it's more set up like Mogadishu. There's vehicles outside, and
you know what the cool part about this range? Have you ever been to a range that has Jaguars as range props?
I saw that.
They literally have Jaguars out there.
3 Jaguar vehicles
holes too,
and they're all shot full of holes.
But yeah, so one of the cool things about this place too is you are undercover everywhere. So you can shoot rain or shine, day or night. It doesn't matter. Everything you can do here during the day, you can also do at night under nods. Yeah. But it's like you're inside a building on the.
But the cool part is it reminds you why. Even at 1 o'clock in the afternoon in Baghdad, when it's bright outside, why we still ran clear iPro. When that Humvee parked, you take off your dark Oakleys and you had your clear lenses. Right? Yeah. No, dude, that shit gets thrown on the dash with my big coffee cup. That's because I always went into the building, even broad daylight, because you get inside the building, it might be an apartment building. 80 apartments, but the power hasn't been turned on for months, and it's dark inside. It is really, really dark. All right, we already did that one. Should this one's again? He's back again. Should the average American be at all concerned that the government will use drones of any kind against us in the future? All right, number one, guys. Please don't be thinking boogaloo, all right? and I know that everybody's that we need to disband the ATF. I got that, and you understand there are people out there that saying you need to disband all police departments. Not there's all government agencies have issues, but all government agencies, but it's primarily up at higher levels. Now, I'm like you. I would love to see the ATF's budget completely given to DEA and the FBI. That's just me personally. All right. But for you to say, well, I'm worried about the FBI using drones against me, it doesn't matter who's using them. It doesn't matter if it's your neighbor. It doesn't matter if it's the cartels. It doesn't matter if it's the Chinese, North Koreans, or the ATF. You should know drones, the techniques to use drones, the tactics to use drones. And the best way to do that is buy yourself a drone. My family has several drones. They're great for checking your property lines. They're great for checking on why the dogs are barking, but they're just great to train with. Now, there are different levels of drone technology, all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. But the best way is not to just worry and be fearful of something, is educate yourself. People that are scared of guns have never learned how to use guns. If you would let me give them a class, and all of a sudden they're not scared of guns anymore. Same thing with UAVs. There's some evil shit you can do with UAVs, guys. You understand, if you take that quarter out of your pocket and you stack like 3/4 tall, that's the smallest helicopter drone I've seen. It's the size of a quarter. It's as tall as 3/4. The rotor dish is the size of a quarter.
It's been a while since you've seen that.
Yeah, and it's been a while since I've seen it. And then I've used drones up to the size of this building, and everything in between. There are, and we're not going to get into the tactics and everything, but there are handheld drones that are armed now. 19-gram shape charges, explosive charges in them. And they're awesome. But again, we're not going to get into the tactics. Rather than be afraid of drones, educate yourself on how to use drones, add them to your bag of tricks. And the more you get educated on the subject, the less you'll be afraid of it. You guys need to learn thermals too. All right. The Gustache 2531. Mom must have had a box that just dropped so many kids out of that thing. She had to number her children. So, all right, 2531. All right. Sir, what is a good draw time for a holster when a bad guy already has his gun out? I work church security. Number one, if he's already got the gun out, he's already got the drop on you. Your best deal is not to draw. Distract him. All right. And I don't care if that's just walking behind your wife and then drawing while you're behind your wife. One, wives are, you understand, it's easy to get new wives, guys. Honey, I'm joking. I know you're watching the live stream. Relax, honey, relax. Now, kids are harder to make, they're fun to make. Kids are fun to make, but it takes time to grow them. Right. But no, seriously, get a distraction. Understand, if somebody's already got the drop on you, you're not going to win that draw. Right. You're just not. But you wait till they're looking in another direction. You get a distraction. But we have time standards. If you're interested in them, you can go back to our Tactical Rifleman archive. And me and Coach did a whole series of videos on what we call our critical task evaluations. Now, in full kit, gun belt with a duty pistol in a duty holster, the standard for units that come to Mid-South is basically a 1.5 second draw. Now, understand, I can take off both my shoes right now and put them back on in 1.5 seconds. Now, that seems like a lightning fast draw, but you understand what I'm saying? If somebody literally already has the drop on you, your 1 second draw is still not going to be fast enough, right? I literally can. I got both my shoes off right now, and that's less than a second. Guys, I'm not joking. I just took off both my shoes in less than a second. So your lightning fast 1 second draw is not going to win that gunfight. It's just not. So do you try to train for a half-second draw? No, it's not. You can't do that safely. You just can't. There's so many other things you need to train. So
The better question is, how fast can you get a hit?
exactly. Do the best you can, train and practice. But understand a human reaction time is 0.22 seconds. So we'll say quarter second for easy math. So it takes a quarter of a second for you to just identify, hey, that is a threat that warrants deadly force. And then another human reaction time for those hands to move to the holster release retention, if it's a retention holster. Another human reaction time to clear the cover garment if you need to clear a cover garment. And then presentation, you're prepping the trigger on the way out. You start adding them up. I'm already at 1 second. So for you to have a second, a draw that is less than a second, you are not safe because you are cutting corners somewhere where you're exceeding your ability to do that, for your subconscious mind to cycle that task while you're in fight or flight. So set realistic goals. I'm putting my shoes back on now, guys.
Yeah, you can. There's a lot of different ways to answer that question, and the guy that asked the question didn't say whether the gun was pointed at him or not, right? So you're in church. Has he got a gun out? He's doing something else. He's got a gun pointed at you. The best thing you can do if he's got a gun pointed at you, it's awful hard to draw on a drawn gun. If he gets distracted, though, if he looks the other way,
your other church security guys.
You might be the guy that gets to distract him while somebody else takes him out. So you may not get to have the fun with your gun. But
I bet you can't hit my hand. I bet you can't hit my hand right here.
Right.
I bet you can't. And then when he aims at your hand, the other church security guy gets it, right?
So
don't put
that's where you got to
there.
have a team. I actually train. I've trained some church security teams. I've got a couple of good friends that are on theirs.
Look at all the kid idiots watching.
Yeah, they're eating.
These guys is it good, guys? Come on. You can be on the live stream.
Hey, one of the things about church security, just for everybody that's out there, and for that guy that asked that question, think about when you got a church full of people. How are you going to engage the shooter when you got a bunch of people standing up and moving around?
Yeah.
Okay. And what happens when you miss or you have a round that penetrates him and goes out the other side of him? There's going to be people behind him. So, you got to come up with a plan for how you're going to do that. One of the things that you can do is take your shot kneeling.
I was just getting ready to say that.
So you need to practice that. It's not something, if you don't practice it, it ain't going to work. But if you take that shot kneeling, now your miss or your over penetration is not going to hit, hopefully, the people behind him unless they're immediately behind.
Rules of firearm safety. All right. One of them is know your target's backstop. Know what's in front of it, knows what's behind it. So Walmart parking lot, for example, that gangbanger goes to rob you while you're loading groceries in the car. Yeah, you can dead to rights, burn that guy down. But if your bullet goes right through him and hits grandma loading groceries into her car, grandma doesn't deserve that, does she? She don't deserve it. So what do you do? I'm not saying don't shoot. I'm saying be aware of your backstop. Sashay to the side and pie grandma out of the equation. It's the same thing in your church situation. Find an angle. Coach used the example of kneeling so that your bullet is actually rising. If he's got a big crowd of people behind him. You guys realize how many shootings there are in churches in America every year. They don't make the news. Because nobody wants to air their dirty laundry, but because most of them involve domestic disputes. They all know each other, and drama. I'm not big on drama. No, I pray you guys never have to draw down on definitely not another American. Philip Wilson's here. What is the price range for the night vision equipment that can be purchased at the low light, no light course? It depends whatever you want. We're doing a low light, no light course in July. And the cool part about it is buying night vision. This stuff's expensive. So a lot of people want to actually play with it before they buy it. I got that. I always recommend you start with a PVS 14 for your first set of night vision. because it's just so much, it's versatility. You can hang it around your neck, you can drive with it, you can do whatever. So I love my binos.
Brian,
I
how
love,
much
I
does your
love my
night vision
binos.
cost?
I love my thirds.
Not a penny.
Yeah, he got his for free, right? So for the low light, no light course, what I've done is AGM Global Vision is going to provide brand new PVS 14s, complete head harnesses, skull crushers, green bag, sacrificial lenses, everything. They're going to be Gen 2 Plus. And you're basically paying my price. I'm literally not allowed to say how low it is because it is less than MSRP. So if you look at basically the best deals that you can get at Optics Planet or the Night Vision guys, wherever, and understand I'm going to be getting them cheaper than that. I will post the price when I lock it in. Cool part, they're yours at the beginning of the course. You do not have to pay them. You're going to be using brand new night vision. It's a 2-day course. When you get to the end of the course, if you want to purchase your set, you're welcome to do it. You pay my price. If not, AGM Global Vision has agreed to take them back. So if I sell 4, cool. They'll take the other ones back. No big deal. Because the last class I did like this, I had 6 students and I sold 7 sets of nods. 4 sets were vinyl. Anyway, so let's say you already have a PVS 14 and you want a set of binos. Whatever AVS 6s, PVS 51s, whatever it is you're wanting. You pick anything from their website, and so long as you agree to buy it, I will have it there at class for you. And then you pay me back, it's yours, and you depart with it. So anyways, it's a good deal. My big thing is I own, I think, 6 PVS 14s. Could I outfit a class? Maybe, but I'd rather have you guys play with brand new stuff. And a lot of my stuff is old. It's been tore up. It has been tore up. My go bag in my vehicle's got a PVS 14 in it. It's actually my good one. Yeah, don't be eyeing my bag, coach. So anyways, it's a decent course. I'm not allowed to give the price yet because I haven't exactly locked in the price yet. We'll have IR illuminators and IR aiming laser modules there. There might be D-balls. They might be Pack 15s. I haven't worked out which ones we'll have there yet because I'm trying to see if I can get some that y'all can purchase also. That class is middle of July. I want to say 11 and 12 July. You'll have to check the calendar to be sure, but that class is already half full. All right. So if you're interested in doing that, please sign up for that class. I have classes here in a couple weeks in Texas. And if you guys are interested, I do still have a few slots left. It is 1 through 7 April. Those are in Texas. 1 April is Combat Pistol 101. 2 and 3 April is our Combat Pistol Carbine course. 4 April is Carbine Zero Mastery. 5 and 6 April is the Advanced Pistol Carbine class. And then the 7th is a course that's just called, it's called Just the Test. We take all those critical task evaluations. You're going to do all of them. But then, if you've ever done tests, you practice, you mentioned the draw, you can only get so fast. You can't get better. You can't get better. Well, we then show you how to, kind of like an Olympic coach would do, how to take any task, any test, break it down in the different testable points, and then how to master each one of them. You're going to work at 50% your max speed for a while. And then we go to 80%. You're going to push there. We'll have you try to outrun your headlights, 100% your speed. And then we'll show you what we call our combat speed, which is not as fast as you can go. It's as fast as you can accurately do everything right all the time. And you'll find at the end of the day, when you go back and redo all those tests again, that holy smokes, you've really crushed and improved so much more than you could do at home. The other part, my reason for putting and those classes are all 50% off. So instead of it being $350 a day, you're looking at like half that. A 2-day $750 class is now only $375. But the added bonus is it's right next to Beaumont Ranch, where I did my Patreon course last November with Coach. We had such a great time, and I want to bring my instructors back there because we're literally 10 minutes away. So they said I could put my instructors up in the bunkhouse, $45 a night. Where are you going to find hotel rooms for $45 a night? You can't. So I asked them, yeah. So I'm like, would you mind if I let my students stay there? They're like, not at all. They're part of your family. I'm like, yeah. So if you guys want to sign up for those courses, you sign up from tacticalrifleman.com. 1 through 7 April. You don't have to come for the whole thing. Come for 1 day, 2 day. I've got 5 or 6 of you that have already signed up for all 7 days. It's going to be awesome. But if you want to stay at the bunkhouse, you just reach out to Shelly at Beaumont Ranch and just let her know you're with us, and $45 a night. You're just not going to be able to beat that. You're not. So anyways, you guys want to sign up, that would be cool. I'd love to see you guys there. If not, that's fine. You can sign up later on in the year. We've got classes all up on the calendar. Great training going on. I love going to Texas. My only problem where I screwed up was I got asked to do early April, and I didn't bat an eyelash at it. I'm like, okay, people wanted early April. I put it on the calendar, thought I was good to go. And then Coach tells me, that's when our Super Bowl is, when the cadets compete against West Point and all the other academies. So Coach will not be there for that class, but
I'll be there towards the end of the week.
Yeah, towards the end of the week. But I've got great instructors who are going to be there. I got another question.
Hey, so Big Tuna nailed the answer on how to deal with a church shooter. Well played, Big Tuna. The other thing I would add to you guys is everybody wants to be faster. The key's not being faster. The key is doing more than one thing at a time. So you have to master the skills. But it's really hard. I've got sophomores here who've had to swallow hard today because they don't have the skills yet to execute multiple things at one time. I had a senior on the range today just doing switching shoulder drills that couldn't move his hands to switch shoulders and his feet at the same time, right? So simple stuff. But if you don't practice it and it's not introduced to you the right way, and when you do a switching shoulders, the idea is to get the round on away from the other shoulder, right? But if you move the gun first, you move your hands first, and then you move your feet first, you're not pressing the trigger till all that's done. You got to do it all at the same time. So it's not just being faster; it's being efficient.
The cool part about coming to places like this is the technique that they taught today on how to switch shoulders is different than what me and Coach teach. So what did I do? Did I say, well, shit, my way, I've already mastered my way. My way, I make all the times easily on the tests. No, I could have done that, right? Because I've been shown 3 or 4 different ways to do switching shoulders. But their technique, I had been showing it here, but it was like 2000, 2001. And it dawned on me, I really hadn't messed with it in a while. I listened to how the instructor presented it, and I was like, I'm going to try it again their way. And I still won't say their way is faster than the way me and Coach do it. But one thing I will say, and this goes on everything, is I'm big on why. So if an instructor like Coach says, do this way, I want to know why. Because if this other instructor says, do it this way, I want to know his why. And you may find yourself in a situation someday where your way is not working, but because you open your mind up and you've learned 3 different ways to do the same task, their way of doing it may work in that particular situation that you find yourself in where your way doesn't. So always try to arm yourself with extra techniques, extra tools in that mental toolbox. So, and I've learned so much from Coach that has made me a faster shooter and better at certain ways. And there's some things that we to this day we do different, but that's his world with the cadets is different than my way. And he'll ask me why a lot of times, and then he'll be like, I hadn't thought of that. I understand why in your world, why you do it that way. And yeah, that's why we get along. Susan wanted us to mention that for my patrons, I know I got a lot of patrons that are in the chat room right now. We're going to do our Patreon course again, like the last week of October. And I know that's a long ways away, but it's really not. It's going to be here before you know it. Patreon course again, it'll be at Beaumont Ranch. But understand, I've got people flying in from Australia. I got people coming in from Alaska. I got people coming in from Maine. They don't want to just come for 4 days. They want to train longer. So a couple of our instructors, Chad Moorman, Emery Morgenstern, I believe Ross and Herstoff will be there also. A couple days prior to the Patreon course, it's actually going to be the 21st and 22nd of October. They have a course called Gun Runner 1 Pistol. And we didn't want to say it's a beginner pistol course. It's not a beginner pistol course, but instead of you doing combat drills where like I'm having you T-box to aim for the brainstem, it's all about mastering the fundamentals with that firearm. And the first day you're getting the lessons, but most shooting schools, you don't have time to get the repetitions in because you understand it takes 3,000 to 5,000 repetitions to push something into your subconscious mind. Now, that second day of the course, you're not going to do 3,000 to 5,000 repetitions. Nobody can afford that much ammo. But you're going to get enough repetitions in that the drills and the teaching points are all beat into your mind. And anyways, it's a 2-day course. Susan wanted me to mention it because she's actually, her and her husband are flying in from Australia. And it's the 21st, 22nd. It's going to be right before the Patreon course. Now, that course is not restricted just to patrons. If you guys want to take or if you want to plug a couple cadets into it, it's going to be Gun Runner 1 Pistol 21-22 October. And we run these courses throughout the year, but that particular one is going to be right before the Patreon course. Hell, I might sign up and take it.
You do. I saw you shoot.
Yeah, I know, right?
Hey, for any of you patrons out there that were there this year, I got a ton of video on my phone of the helicopter gun runs. So I need to upload those somewhere, and I'll get that to Susan. She'll push it out to y'all. I tried to note, as I heard on the radio, who it was that was shooting. I tried to talk and throw a name out.
That's cool. That's cool.
So anyway, y'all can dig through all that video. But that's a great video of the helicopter fun. Y'all need to do that.
Our patrons, we do it once a year, a Patreon course. And for my patrons, you guys know I love y'all. If you're not a patron, that's fine. I would love you more if you were a patron. But you guys understand YouTube demonetizes my videos. They don't promote my videos. We went from making a lot of money with videos to now I don't make any money with videos. I make my money teaching courses in Patreon. The only reason why I'm able to go to Arizona and put 3,500 rounds of ammo through miniguns to get you that 5-minute long minigun video, I think it was 20 minutes long, was because of my patrons. So anyways, once a year we do a class just for the patrons. This year it's 4 days long, and the final day we did it this past year. We were renting a Little Bird 086 helicopter. And you will do platform shooting. You will shoot the AR. You'll be in the little safety harness, and you will shoot from the skids of the the Little Bird helicopter. It's scored. You're not just plinking at steel targets. And coach, this past course,
some dumbass has to be down there to go check the target.
Coach is cleaning all the targets, videotaping it, and it's some good footage. It is. It's some good footage. He's trying to find it right now. But yeah, it was a good time. It was a good, and we're going to do it again this year. We 2 years ago, we did tactical driving on the driving track. We got some rental cars, and we actually rented a driving track Last year we did the platform shooting from the helicopter, and we had such a good time. We're going to do it again this year. All right, give me again. You got to. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but anyways, they're right above coach while coach is shooting. Coach is out there with the targets, and
look at that. Look at the production value there.
yeah, that's just awesome, coach. Man, you really should charge me for that. You really should.
Especially all the brass that was sticking out of my head. My dog was not impressed with the raining brass.
I bet. All right. Let's see. We're hours something into it. I want to bring. Let's bring Wildman in. Come here. I'm going to turn this over to Coach real quick. He's got. He's actually an active duty C-130 pilot, but he is one of Coach's previous cadets on the marksmanship team.
So if anybody here has heard me say that I have taught a monkey how to shoot, this is the monkey.
This is the monkey
right here. So, and he's wearing his team hat from how long ago? When did you get that?
10 years ago.
Yeah, it's been 10 years. So,
and that's a hard hat to get,
it's
right?
a hard hat to get. So there's 2 university presidents, 2 commandants of cadets have asked for one of these hats.
And they've never got them.
They don't got them. You earn it. So black hat's pretty valuable to these teams.
What they're talking about, guys, is he's got a black team baseball hat on, and the hats that the cadets start with is their Cryptek camouflage one, tan and brown, and
so you got to earn the black.
You got to earn the black one.
Brian was lucky enough to come along at just the right time. How many national championship teams were you on?
7.
7 national championship teams.
National championships
in 4 years in 2 different sports. So shooting steel challenge, the collegiate version of steel challenge, and shooting 3-gun against the service academy. So I don't think you were on a team that lost to those people on the Hudson, were you?
First one.
Yeah. So,
and then Coach brought me in.
General Lee never referred to the Union Army as the enemy. He referred to them as those people.
So
I adopted that from him. So we don't call them our enemy. We just call them those people. Step over here.
Funny. All right. Come snuggle. All right, guys. You know the deal. I like to hang out with you guys. I have a nice studio down in my basement, and my son will sit off to the side with the soundboards and the cameras. And when we start this, he's always got the logo with the fire that rolls across the screen, and it's awesome. But they're used to it that whenever I'm on the road, I do this via laptop, and I know it sucks, guys. I'm sorry that my laptop sucks, but. And that's why we only have 158 people watching now, where we usually have got a lot more. They like my son's production value better than mine. But anyways, thanks for coming out.
Appreciate
it. Was there? I know it's fun just shooting as a cadet, but and Coach ain't here, so you don't have to actually say it. But from a leadership standpoint and learning a lot about the military outside.
Definitely. Day one, I started flying the C-130. Co-pilot's in charge of getting hotels and cars. That is expected of co-pilots.
Yeah.
That's all I did on the team. That's hard for co-pilots.
Yeah.
Day one, I know how to do that. I can excel.
Yeah.
I was in charge of the A squadron when I was here.
Yeah.
Had 22 cadets underneath me. I kind of already knew how to lead. I screwed up along the way. Had a good gunny that corrected me. Taught me how to actually lead instead of just barking orders. And I'd like to think that it has paid off. I'm still learning every day.
Yeah.
And being able to come back here and interact with the cadets again and understand what they're going through and knowing where I was at that point, I feel like I can give back to them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I can't really teach them how to shoot anymore. I've been out of the game for a while, but I can still teach them how to run a team, how to be a good leader.
Yep. Awesome. I'm a big fan of the C-130s. You know I am. I love my AC-130s. I'm a brave son of a gun when I got an AC-130 over my head, but before the sun comes up, they got to leave. And then I was just like, oh, shit, I'm on my own again. And yeah, if I got an AC-130 above me, that's awesome. But the ones that have basically made the military move since Vietnam, it's the C-130. It's been a great plane. They're all modernized now. You were talking about
Oh
the
yeah,
HUDs and
HUDs, glass cockpits.
they
It's
used to
great.
have 4 people in the cockpit.
Nope, we carry 2.
Two
We carry
people in the
pilot,
cockpit.
co-pilot, 2 load masters, and we get her done.
That's it. 4 people on the whole plane. That's crazy. God, I'm old. I'm so freaking old. Oh, all right. You were, guys, he was sharing some of his own war stories being in the Air Force, which is an excellent alternative to military service, by the way. You know, if my daughter wants to go through medical school, I'm going to encourage her to go Air Force. Yeah, but he was sharing some of his stories as a C-130 pilot, and I don't know which ones you're allowed to share here. Craziest landing.
Craziest land was probably
You didn't die, did you?
Obviously, I'm still here.
You know, some of my stories, you know, they get better every year. You know, a couple of them I've actually died in. You know, so.
Well, the worst one, we were coming back from deployment. We were done. We were out of the combat zone. We were going home. Wind was supposed to be 50 knots headwind. Ended up being 150 knots. We crossed our ETP and we still had good fuel. We were good to go, and then the wind picked up. We're going way into Lodge Air Force Base. We get there, winds are out of limits. Crazy crosswinds. We can't keep it straight on the runway. Shoot and approach. We try it out. Doesn't work. We have to go around. Like, cool.
Plane's literally doing this.
We're crabbing the whole way in. I try to straighten up, and I'm just blown off the runway. We have -2. We're a 2-ship formation at this point. They try it. Same thing. Cool. We're going to try it again, 50 flap. We fly a little bit faster, better crosswind control. Still doesn't work. I look up. We have 45 minutes worth of fuel left. We're in the middle of nowhere.
So you can't go to another runway.
We're looking around. There's, a sprinkling of civilian airfields out here in the Azores. We have 3 pilots on the first ship. We have 3 pilots on the back ship. We're taking everyone back home from deployment, and we're all listening to different weather, talking to different people. Finally, we found one airfield. Winds were 1 knot within limit, and the ceilings were 100 feet within limits. Cool. We're going there. We finally broke out, found the runway, straightened it up, landed, taxi off as soon as I can, and I look back, and right at that moment, I see the second -2 rolling out, breaking through the weather, and they land. We're both safe on the ground. I look up. We have 30 minutes of fuel left. I can't even crank my APU because we don't have enough fuel in the certain tank we have. So that was one of the things where if it comes to it, I'm going to have to break a rule. Am I going to land crosswinds out of limits, or am I going to land, penetrate below the weather that's too low? I can't swim. I'm going to find pavement to put it on. That was the craziest landing and so far the most scariest point of my career.
See, and for me, I'm cargo. That's why they call it a C-130. Passengers on a plane like your cargo. So for me, I'm in the back of the plane. I'm usually asleep because if he blows a landing and it rolls into a big ball of fire, my eyelids flutter, and St. Peter's like, dude, it's just your time, it's no big deal. Or he lands rough and I get woke up. But either way, sometimes you just got to trust other people. You got to trust destiny happens. And in the military, because planes get shot at, or they're going to drop the tailgate of that C-130 and you're going to jump out at 27,000 feet in the dark. You understand that's a traumatic event. You're wearing an oxygen mask, you're pre-breathing oxygen for over an hour, and that's your focus. I've always trusted that the Air Force pilots will always, always, always get us there because they don't cut corners. All their checklists are done and they're well trained. And if a part breaks, the plane's going to sit there in Sigonella, Italy, until they get it fixed. You don't have to worry about. You're not flying Ethiopian Airlines or what's the one out of Alaska? What are they called?
I'd be lying. to
Oh,
you if
I
guessed.
have flown on some terrible airlines here in the States. Holy cow. I'd rather fly it with a C-130 than fly on some of these Southwestern airline planes. Crazy, crazy. Yeah, well, thanks, man. Don't let them give you shit. I think you want to be like a B-2 pilot or something.
No,
Not
never.
always wanted to do
C-130 is my whole life.
C-130.
Had a C-130 flying above my bed when I was 5 years old.
Nice, nice. I'm glad you got to do what you wanted to do, man. Reef LeMan. Carl, when shooting from that little bird, do we use our own rifles? Are you restricted to AR-15 type rifles? You are restricted. You're going to use your own rifles, but I want you to use ARs because I have to put brass deflectors on them because you understand one piece of brass hits a rotor blade. It's not necessarily going to destroy the rotor blade and kill everybody, but you understand those rotor blades are expensive and a single piece of brass hitting a rotor blade damages it. So they will have brass deflectors there that we quickly put onto your ARs. All right, but I want you to shoot your guns. No, you're not going to go up there with a Barrett 50 because that's a big piece of brass. I don't have a brass deflector for a 50. I don't. You ever done shooting from a helicopter yet?
I have not.
Right. You have to come down October. Come down in October. We'll get you up, guys. It's whenever we do classes in Texas, a lot of times you'll see I let coach plug a couple of his cadets in for free. Why? Because I'm supporting the team. One, and two, because they're great help to have around. They're motivated. They help me and my instructors reset targets and everything. But they are the next generation of leaders in the U.S. And I have no doubt that you're gonna excel in the Air Force, and then whenever you do decide to get out, you're going to go on and do great things. You're good people, man. You are. You're good people.
Thanks, Scott.
Coach wouldn't have anybody on his team if it wasn't good people. I want to bring these other two cadets on, but they're actually over there playing chess. You show me another Schleprock generation college kid playing chess right now. You understand? There's like 3 on the entire planet playing chess right now. That's it. They're all surfing porn. They're chasing transgender whatever, and they're not even sure of their freaking pronouns. They're not. They're just not. But I'm telling you, these cadets are freaking awesome. They are. They're freaking awesome. They're awesome. We're not going to tell them that. We're not going to tell them that. But you guys know I love them. I love them. All right. Next question from the Peanut Gallery. I got, let's see. That's a Wildflower, a TR Live. Why not use those brass collector bags? There's a lot of like if you go hog hunting, a lot of times they will have you use a brass deflector bag that actually catches all the brass. My personal experience with them is they induce a lot of malfunctions in the guns, and I don't want you, one of my patrons, up there. You only get one bullet off, and then it jams, and you waste the rest of your time trying to clear a malfunction. If somebody's actually taking a platform shooting class, that's part of it, how to clear malfunctions while you're hanging from a helicopter. But for my patrons, it's more about, hey, let's have fun. You understand? I have guys like Fred LaCourte that shows up. He's been a patron for a while. He's an awesome guy. I think he's a good dentist, but I don't know. But he brought his wife, Maria, and the wives get to go up in the helicopter, Susan and Glenn. I think Susan actually outshot Glenn from the helicopter. And it's just fun to do it. So I'm not big on brass catchers. I'm big on brass deflectors. When we got to the end, everybody got to shoot from the helicopter twice. Mm-hmm. And then it got to the end. Now, I had already paid for so many hours of blade time. Aviation gas, guys, is expensive, by the way. Thank you, patrons. Thank you. But got to the end, and we still had like 10 minutes left, 10, 15 minutes left. And I told the air crew, I'm like, look, everybody's gone. I'd like to go. And I'm like, look, I know you guys do training classes here. So if you want to try different approach angles for making gun runs, or if there's, other tactics you want to try, they're like, you've done this before? I'm like, yeah, this is kind of what I used to do for a living, and the co-pilot, he's like, yeah, dude, this is Carl. This is the guy I told you about. He's like, oh shit, so you have done this before? Yeah, SR-25, Mark 11. I've spent my time shooting from helicopters. Hell, I've shot Barretts from helicopters. So they're like, all right, cool. So they brought me up and they were showing off. They were standing this plane up on the side and we're going up and he's turning it on his side and we had a blast. So I run out all 3 AR mags and I keyed the radio. I was like, hey, look, I've got pistol left and I'm pretty good with a pistol. Yeah, ask them. They'll tell you I'm pretty good with it, right, guys? I'm not bad with a pistol. I'm not bad with a pistol. So they're like, Roger that. We're gonna come in hot. I'm gonna stand it up on the left side, and I'll run straight into the target so you get clean shots with your pistol. You got 2 ranges with targets. He comes in, swoops, and just turns that bird sideways and just starts drifting. And I'm got my rifle down, and I'm just getting my blast on tac mag, speed reload. I got magazines dropping all over the planet. We had a blast. We had a good time. Had a good time. All right. We got last minute questions coming in. I think we already did that one. Hey, Carl, question. If 2 is 1 and 1 is none, should the backup AR be identical, the same caliber or another caliber? Honest, I want you to have backup of the same caliber, right? Because guns do shit the bed. One, you need to think more than just you. For example, and heaven forbid you have to defend your home. But if you do, why would it just be you? Like in my house, my daughter has her, she loves my Banshee. My wife loves, she calls it hers. It's her MPX. And then my son has his AR, and my son actually lives across the street now in his own house. If you had to defend your own house, like right now, who is in my house with all my guns? Not me. I'm down here in Mississippi. My wife is at home, so you understand she needs to know how to use the firearms that are in that house. If you ever had to defend your neighborhood, understand you need to be able to arm everybody in the neighborhood within reason. Now, understand I live up on a little hill. It's my house, my father-in-law's house, my brother-in-law's house, my wife's aunt and uncle. It's like a little Waco compound. But, all I got here's an AR for you. Here's your bandolier of 8 magazines. You know those bandoliers that the stripper clips come in, that little white string on it, right? You guys saw them today out there. You pull out that white string, and now all those pockets are long enough to hold AR mags. Each pocket will hold 2 AR mags. So now a bandolier has 8 AR mags. I can hand him my spare AR, number 13, and I can hand him a bandolier. He doesn't even have to have mag pouches. Sling it, and he's got 8 magazines, and then give the next AR to, the niece, and the next one. I'm starting to sound like a freaking nutbag. I'm not, guys. I'm not. I just, and that's why I say go with the same caliber. All right. Now, do I have other calibers? Of course, I have other calibers. I grew up 308. My first sniper school was 1987, I want to say, and we had an M21, which is basically an accurized M14 semi-automatic with a Art 2 scope on it. Then my second sniper school, we had the brand new M24 sniper weapon system, bolt action 7.62. My second one was an M21 also. My third one was the brand new M24s. And then my fourth one was Sodic, the SF sniper school at Bragg. Again, we had M24s there. And then you get into the 300 Win Mags and the 338 Lapuas, and now they're running 300 Normas and 338 Normas. Yeah, I've got a couple different calibers at my house, couple different. But honest, if I had to grab guns, it would be 5.56, it would be 308, and it'd be my Barrett 50 cal. Why a Barrett? Because people don't like to walk, and if they show up in a vehicle or a helicopter or an airplane, I'm going to make them miserable. So yeah, Barrett is just a beautiful thing, guys. To even ask why do you own a Barrett? To even ask that question, you obviously why does the sun come up in the morning? I think everybody should own a Barrett. That's just me. That's just me. Yeah, I love my Barrett. I got a suppressed Barrett. Nice suppressor on. It's awesome, dude. I love my Barrett. You take a couple magazines, a good API, and it's a beautiful thing. This is my new laptop. My old laptop, she pissed me off one too many times. Yeah, I hit it with a full mag of Barrett, dropped the Barrett on the grass, brought up my my Versamax shotgun, emptied the shotgun, dropped it on the table. It's not as tough as a Barrett is.
Take care.
I already had my AR slung on my front. I emptied the full 30 round mag, 28 rounds, and then transitioned to my pistol and did all 3 mags of pistol. By the time I got to the end, I'm having to hit edges of the keyboard because there just wasn't anything left. Guys, you can see it. The video is up on Instagram. You got to go back a few years because this is an old computer. But yeah, it's you got a laptop or a printer that's pissing you off. Everybody's seen the movie Office Space. You got that printer come on now. Everybody's had a printer piss them off. Right? It's just it's a good thing. It's a good thing. All right, man. I'm gonna let you go, and thank you for your service to our country and living proof that coach can train a monkey how to pull a trigger. Right there. All right. Next question. This is from Eddie. All right. Here's a question. Why can't we use the U.S. energy beam weapon active denial system along the border? Active denial system. One, I'm not sure exactly which one you're talking about. Understand there's a lot of classified systems out there. One's called the Dazer. It is pretty badass. There are microwave ones. There's all kinds. Why? All you got to do is build a wall and maintain it. That's all. You understand, guys? We don't need to pass new laws. We just need to enforce the ones that we have. And that's the problem with politicians. Politicians should come right between deer and turkey season, but they don't. That's understand. And you guys understand. I'm joking when I say that. All right. You can't have a country run by the military. You can't have a country ran by the police. You can't have a country ran without a government. You can't. So it's a necessary evil. I think there should be term limits because you get politicians that understand. You got people like the Clintons that went and studied law when they already knew they were going to go into politics. Why do you study law? You study law so you know how to get around it. All right. That's just the truth. I'm not making shit up. But there are legitimate politicians. There's a lot of freshmen every year that go to Congress with the intent of being a good politician. But the longer you do it, eventually you get more and more dirty, and it's just part of it. It is. So there should be term limits, but right now there's not. So don't hate them. It's just a necessary part of the plan. All right, who's going to be on screen next? All right, come snuggle. I got room for both of y'all. I got 2 of my favorite cadets here, Frick and Frack. All right. Favorite part, and you don't have to talk good about Coach. He's not going to hear him. All right. This trip right here, favorite part of it so far?
The instructors, honestly. The instructors are everything, to me at least. Instructors make everything worth it. If you don't have a good instructor, I mean, to me, there's a way to teach And seeing somebody who knows how to convey information, but like to be funny, charismatic, and to make you engage the entire time is really a skill.
These instructors here understand they're good operators, all right, but not all good operators are good instructors. And the instructors they have here are top notch. They deliver the stories with just the right amount of profanity, right? Right?
Yeah.
Right? They're like, yeah. These boys got potty mouth, right? But they share little vignettes, little stories, little. Hey, you need to make sure you do this, and yeah, they do a great job here. They really do. They really do. All right. How about your favorite part so far?
Well, I'd say my favorite part's probably just the opportunity to come here. Like, that's something that I'm really grateful for.
These are not the coolest ranges.
This is
It's crazy.
the
crazy.
coolest range I've ever been to. The coolest instructors. Excellent at what they do. Excellent at getting the message across, and just the opportunity to hang out with fellow team members and get better with them, and just learn. And I'm just grateful to be here.
Well, I'm grateful you guys do what you do. And I'm sincere when I say it, guys. I'm not getting paid to be here. The reason why I support coaches, cadets, is I see all these other colleges and I see these high schools, and you understand most of your generation, because our global warming and all, we got to save the planet. I'm all about saving the planet. You guys know I am. But how I want to save the planet is I want to drop most of their generation in wood chipper. Right? I want to fertilize the world with their entire generation. Right?
You're the ones playing chess.
But the exception of this, and the only thing that's given me any hope for the next generation, basically the world, the United States especially, is you guys. Coach brings me out, and every year I just get destroyed looking at what's happening in America. And people don't even know their pronouns anymore. I learned pronouns in like third grade, guys. He, she, right? It's not that hard. It's not. And then about the time I'm ready to give up on society, Coach brings me down to work with you guys. And these guys, you're all are awesome. I know you don't see it because you're around each other all the time, but you go outside there, you talk to some of the people right up the road, right? Woo. Meth keeps them skinny, but there's some messed up people here. There's some messed up people in the world. There really are. So anyways, thank you for what you guys do. You going in the military when you graduate?
Yes, sir. I contracted with the Marines about a month ago.
Marine Corps. Awesome. What branch you want? I mean, what specialty? You want infantry? You want artillery?
Preferably, I'm looking at doing intelligence.
Intelligence.
I think that would be something really cool to do.
Okay.
But it's the Marine Corps. They're going to put you where they want you.
Yeah,
So
exactly. That's how that works.
Sure.
How about you? Space Force, right?
No, that's the other guy.
Yeah. I'm not joking. They have a guy that's already on contract to go to the Space Force, right? We got to get the weapons qual because I want to do a tactical rifleman video on it, right? Space Force, like
The laser beams.
the rifle pistol qual, right? Because where you just press R to reload, right, on the controller, right? Would that not be cool? That'd be a fun video. I think that would be just awesome. All right, so where you going?
I'd like to go to the Marine Corps. I'm seeking a contract now. I'm just waiting on medical. But
Nice. Marine Corps. That my viewers, everybody that Carl hates Marine Corps. He was in the Army. No, honest. One thing you guys have heard me say, I love the Marine Corps. My wife will tell you, like you guys heard me say it earlier, I am the bravest son of the gun on the planet when I have an AC-130 over my head. Right, I'm a brave son of a gun. Right, Air Force always bails me out, but when I'm in the airport. Another Green Beret in the airport, I don't buy him a drink. I don't give a shit. He probably owes me a drink, right? Unless he coins me or something, I'm not buying him a drink. Air Force, I don't buy them drinks. Navy, a SEAL. I'm not playing volleyball. I don't even want SEALs around me, right? But my wife would be like, you just bought that Marine a drink, and I'm like, yeah. She's like, you don't buy a drink for anybody, and because every gunfight my A team was ever in, where we had Marines around us, I didn't have to write a single Purple Heart for any of my guys, not one time. I had a Marine right next to me. He was actually their Navy corpsman, but he'd been a Marine forever. The rocket hit the wall behind us. He actually ended up losing his arm. And, I had another, and this was on Camp Fallujah, a 10-foot long Katyusha rocket came in. And, big God, boom. Again, my guys don't get scratched. The guy died in my arms. His heart was actually outside of his chest. And rolling out with the Marines. And Colonel Buell, I remember this, 2004, Fallujah. Colonel Buell won 4 Marines or 4-1 Marines. And I was so pissed off this one time. I'm up on the roof. I got all my snipers, and we're going to find the motherfucker that did that. And he's like, Carl, Marines die. That's what we do. He's like, relax. I took that shit fucking personal. So anyways, hats off to you guys. You will love working with the Green Berets downrange. You will. Without a doubt. Reason why we like the Marines is because Marines like to kill shit. The Marines did not care that I was wearing a Punisher baseball cap. They did not care that my Desert Tiger stripes were unbloused or that I was wearing Merrills instead of jungle boots. The Marine sergeant majors and first sergeants, they didn't care. But if it was a Marine doing it, you're fucked up. They didn't care about me. They cared because I was bringing stuff to the fight that they didn't have, and we always had a good time. So, anyways, thank you for your service, guys. Without a doubt, thank you for your service. This is the part where I invite you to get the fuck out.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. All right, I'm back. This is the part where Susan reminds me I need to wrap up the live stream. Seriously, she just texted me that she's only got 15 minutes left before she's got to go back to work. All right. They really are awesome. Some of the most respectful, polite, and helpful kids I've ever met. Susan was in a class last April. She came in for the Texas classes, and Coach had some of his cadets in the class. Susan's attesting. She's agreeing with what I said. That's cool. All right. We're going to wrap up the live stream for tonight, guys. Why? Because I'm hungry. I haven't eaten dinner yet. And anyways, I want to give a big shout out to this week's sponsor again, Shield. Again, it's a source for you guys to go, kind of like a Bass Pro Shop type thing. But I ask you guys to support the people that support us here. So anyways, I want to give a big shout out. Thank you to my moderators. I know I got Donut JT and Susan. I want to thank them for all their hard work. I want you guys to come take classes with us. I know the economy sucks right now. I know it. And a lot of our class enrollments are down a lot because, because of that. It is. Cost of ammo's up and everything. But understand things are getting worse. The nuclear holocaust is not going to happen tomorrow. It's not. I know everybody's scared of Putin and everything. But there are it's not going to happen tomorrow, but there are dark clouds on the horizon. There really are. So if you can get in some training, now is the time to get in some training. So here's the deal. I want you guys to, if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you subscribe on your way out. Click that like button and, let YouTube know that they should not be suppressing this channel. All right. That's all we got for tonight, guys. Y'all are awesome. You know you are. And I want to give a big shout out to my wife, my family. I'm having a blast here with the cadets. I am, but I am very interested in getting home. Come on, Coach, come say goodbye to everybody. We're on our way out. Coach is sticking his melon in here. Last parting words of wisdom from Coach Kevin Jimerson.
Guys, don't take anything for granted. Okay? Dry fire every day. You don't have to dry fire for 30 minutes. Dry fire 10 rounds every day. So not everybody can go out in their backyard and shoot. It's okay. I tell people the story all the time. Some of y'all have heard it. Some of you haven't. I had a cadet on my team 2 years ago. In the steel sport that we shoot, if you're really, really, really good, you shoot in a match in 30 seconds, 35, 38 seconds. The guy that was high overall at nationals here this last weekend was 38 seconds, right? So
Yeah.
that's really good. If you shoot that sport in the 50s, then you're a really good pistol shooter, right? Most people off the street would shoot it in 100 seconds. So, but this guy had never been, he was a senior on the team. He'd never shot better than a 52 his entire career. But I had to put him on, it's a 4-man squad. I had to put him on that squad in order to win the match. Problem was, as a senior, he was building construction, so he had to take an internship in Dallas. So I lost him the entire spring. He wasn't with us, did not practice with us, wasn't even around the entire spring. That match is in March, mid-March. I had him at one practice in January. Okay? I had him at an hour and a half on the range 5 days before the national championship. But every evening he came home and he dry fired in his apartment in Dallas. And I gave him a dry fire regimen. This is what I want you to do. That guy, his name was Grant. I won't tell you his last name. Like I said, he never shot better than a 52 in a match, which is not going to win you a national championship. Shooting a 52 certainly not going to win you a high overall. But he went to the match. He only live fired twice. He live fired with me in January, live fired with me for an hour and a half, 5 days before the match. Did not shoot at all otherwise. Shot 39 at the national championship and was the high overall shooter.
Nice.
That's what dry firing.
Dry firing.
So last thing I'll tell you, and this place is proof of it, live ammo is not training. Okay? Live ammo is not training. You have to fire live ammo, but live ammo is where you prove what you have taught yourself in dry fire. And people don't understand that. The vast majority of people I say that to look at me like I'm an idiot, right? Live fire is not training. It's not practice. It teaches you recoil management. That's it. Okay. Live fire is where you prove what you learned and what you taught yourself in dry fire.
Yep.
So you have to come shoot with us and take shooting, learn the techniques and the skills, but the way you make them, skills you can use when you need them, is to go home and dry fire.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it. All right, we are so out of here. I will see you guys next Tuesday. Now, I'm busy, guys. I'm busy. Literally next Tuesday, we're going to do this from my laptop again, but I'm going to be in front of my camper in Palatka, Florida. We are going to be just kicking off the basic airborne course with the round canopy parachuting team. So it's always a great live stream down there. I look forward to seeing you guys next Tuesday, same bat time, same bat channel. I'll see you there. Y'all take care and shoot straight.